this Kyle the Hooligan. So I know y'all probably been hearing about this MEKA stuff. People been DMing me, like, and I try to keep it quiet because I was gonna really wait till this shit blew up for real and then like went after them, because basically it was like they came to me with this AI shit and was like, would I want to be the voice of it? And I thought it was gonna be like some collaboration. They promised me equity into the company, percentages, all this stuff. So I'm thinking like, okay, there's about to be some collab, something different for me, so where I could do my music and be on some AI stuff with this MEKA character. So everything's going good. Next thing I know, niggas just ghosted me. Like, use my voice, use my sound, use the culture, and literally just left me high and dry. I ain't get a dime off of nothing. And they got record deals, all this stuff. I wasn't involved with no meetings or none of that. Like, this Kyle the Hooligan, just to show y'all I'm not cap also, here go the files also. These are the major ones that popped them off. They got 500,000 on Spotify, 10 million followers on TikTok. Like, ghosted me, took the culture, took the swag, took my whole sauce. Like, and I haven't heard from them since. This one is called Moonwalking. This one.
Yo, bro, I just got a DM. You won't believe what it says. This ain't gonna kill me. Moonwalking with a shotty in the lot. Moonwalking with a shotty in the lot. Feel like Hank Hill when I raise the bottom. I don't see no niggas like we playing hot. Moonwalking with a shotty in the lot. Moonwalking with a shotty in the lot.
So that was Moonwalking. The first one I ever did from them, this one's called Internet. This the first song. This what turned them to a rapper. Like, I turned this whole character to the rapper because I thought it was a collaboration, but they X'd me out of it, and this is fucked up, man.
Another nigga talking on the fucking internet. Bloody big mad cause his bitch gave me neck. Worked all night but the shit both flex. Nigga, why you mad? Go and get yourself a check. Better play it cool and I
And this, my friends, is why you never do anything without a contract, okay? A contract that you've gone over several times. This is why you never do anything without a contract, because, you know, in entertainment, in any industry, honestly, people, the way of the world, okay, is that people will do anything to get something for free, you know, to get all the benefit and leave you with nothing, okay? You know, when I was a kid, they had this little fairy tale called Henny Penny and shit. She was trying to, bake some bread or something. Nobody would help her bake the bread. She baked the fucking bread, and then people came and asked for shit, and she said, no, you ain't getting shit because you didn't help me and shit. But you niggas didn't obviously read that book. I read that little story a bunch of times when I was a kid, and even I got fleeced, back in the day in the 90s, and doing my first excursion to Los Angeles and whatnot. I actually got fleeced. I'm not admitting that shit, okay? Because I want you guys to know that I'm human too, okay? I did a design for a non-profit and shit, and then I took a payment, and then I saw within 72 hours, I was at home doing something with my roommate, and I was looking at TV, and they had used that design as a commercial. So I went and called back, and within 24 hours, it was hard to find someone. Within 24 hours, that design was changed to a crappy design, and then I was invited to a giant gala event. And I don't want to go any further and shit, because it's my own personal crap. But I learned the nature of Hollywood and shit for the most part. Still lessons to learn. But that, my friends, young kings, so whatnot. Never do something for free, right? I think the Joker said that shit in Dark Knight. He said, if you're good at something, never do it for free, all right? Cal the hooligan is an idiot, all right? He is a fucking idiot and whatnot, and he is not conscious of the overall impact of what he's doing because he's living hand to mouth and shit. I assume he's living hand to mouth. In the clips that we see, he's in his car, and he's got the shit on his phone. You don't see him in some recording studio, demonstrating his claims. You don't see him doing any of that shit. You don't see him in his home. You don't see him with any paper, any appreciable paper. He looks, he's just a guy to get, and that's how these guys work. And outside in the dominant society and shit, and that includes more than just the Caucasians, even the Asian, all of those outside, groups outside of our ethnic community and shit. And this is not to say that Cal belongs in our society. He really doesn't have to pull in this shit. I heard that, supposedly he was recruited to be the voice of this character, but it's not true. It's not true at all. He purports that he came up with the tracks and the voice. He provided the voice for this very shabby digital character, So he did all of this shit. He doesn't realize what he's doing. He doesn't see the forest for the trees. He doesn't realize he's helping an outside group subvert an art form, what's something that's intrinsically black. All right, for the most part, black is the roots of this shit. Okay, it's the roots of hip hop. We created hip hop. Okay, plain simple. Black people indigenous to this motherfucking country created goddamn hip hop. All right, and Cal is a mongoloid and shit, in my opinion. He's a brute mentality and shit because he's living hand to mouth. These people were able to come in and take advantage of him and whatnot. Don't think they don't do that shit. They do that shit all the time. That's how hip hop got out of the hands of black people back in the early days when it was created and shit. You had these guys come in, they press records, the Jerry Heller thing, There's a ton of Jerry Hellers out there, and more coming out every day, looking for new raw opportunities in our ethnic community and shit to exploit and monetize and shit while giving us nothing and shit. And we stay at the bottom of the barrel economically speaking and shit. I don't care who's, outside the community. I don't care whose feet I stepped on or whose feelings got tinged and shit with some fire. It's true. They come into our community and they weaponize shit. They use us as a testing ground. We're the canaries in the coal mine and shit for a lot of crap and shit. And trust and believe, this is a prototype. The character of FN MEKA is a prototype. They probably have more shit. You never would know, what character we're looking at digitally and shit. We know that they have a deepfake technology and that they can create a virtual people and shit. They can do that. This was just a bottom grassroots campaign. And I went to look for material to use, FN MEKA related material. I found very little. I couldn't find any gifts, really, any decent gifts of them. I went and looked on multiple platforms. I couldn't find him, performing. I just found those little clips of him doing a moonwalk and the other shit. I didn't even find the clip of him being arrested by the cops. I just found some still pictures that didn't serve my purpose. Everything I found, they've damn near yanked the character. All right, and the guy that was one of the crackers, this cracker that was responsible, this cracker and this Asian dude and shit, who were trolling 619, I guess, and he doesn't belong in our community anyway. Well, now anyway, he'll be a Jimmy Hoffa reward recipient sooner or later. These guys knew what they were doing and shit. They weren't, part of the bigger picture. So they did like this rough prototype shit, and they yanked it. It got yanked, and this guy dropped out of his group affiliation, so that if the lawsuit was, filed by Kyle the hooligan here, that he wouldn't be liable to pay any damages personally. So Kyle, monkey ass, will have to sue him and the Asian dude individually for damages. That's how I would go if I was a lawyer. I would sue them individually and the company that they represent as a whole or whatnot. I would even try to acquire the company itself. I'd be okay, give me the company IP then. I would sue. Now Kyle said that he was gonna wait until the character got big and then make his move and shit. He's a fucking idiot and shit. I don't doubt his, that's a sound strategy and shit for you get robbed like that. But like, he doesn't see the forest for the trees and shit. They're trying to whitewash, I wouldn't really say they're trying to wipe out all of our ethnic influence from the medium, the musical medium and shit. Rap isn't what it was even when I grew up and shit. And I was there at the inception of what they call hip hop. Alright, I remember when hip hop and rap were the same thing and shit. Now you got this mumble rap and this auto-tunes bullshit, and I really can't get into it. I don't want to have a conversation about music itself, but I want to say that, Cal, you're a fucking idiot and you're an asshole and you're dangerous and shit. You need to be handled. Alright? The black community needs its own version of Mossad and shit, okay? To deal with shit like this. Because this motherfucker, now foundation or not, he just like Prometheus and shit. He just stole fire and shit, from our ethnic community and shit. Alright? Like a lot of the people outside the community, these guys that press the records for those original rappers and produce albums and all that shit, they're wealthy. They're filthy rich and shit, while our ethnic community wallows in the mud, unrecognized and shit, unacknowledged and shit, politically and otherwise and shit. And it's just a bunch of problems, Cal, you played yourself. Alright, when those two assholes came up to you, wherever you were, and presented you with this opportunity and shit, you didn't think shit about it when you was making those tracks, when you was recording those vocals and shit, and you didn't even get no money up front. You didn't get shit in hand, man. You did all that work. All that work, and what do you got to show for it? Your fucking cell phone and you sitting in your car looking like a fat idiot and shit, and you need your ass whooped, bro. Okay, you need, metaphorically speaking, YouTube. He needs to get, the gang style jump in for being an idiot and for putting our community in danger of losing another avenue of, revenue. What do you think is going to happen if this MEKA shit was successful? And don't think they ain't going to try it again. They're going to roll out a better version. It's going to keep rolling over and shit. They're going to roll out a better version. The next time that they come up with a virtual rapper, they ain't going to say shit. You're just going to think it's a real person and shit that you never see touring, okay? Hey, who's going to be the father of that bullshit? Who's going to be the father of destruction? Who's going to be the Prometheus? Who we should chain to a rock? If anybody knows the Greek mythology and shit, it's going to be Cal the Hooligan here, because he's a fucking idiot. Check it out. I don't know about you guys, man, but I find this character creepy as fuck, man. It is weird and shit. And it's annoying, and it's creepy looking, man. It's almost like a horror character. It's a cheap, modded out video game character, probably an NFT as well. They're calling it a virtual rapper and shit. It's known as MEKA. It's supposed to be a rapper. It looks like that Tekashi 619 guy, like a parody of him, and I don't give a fuck how he feels about it. Maybe he could come out of the witness protection program and file a lawsuit. and go to open court out in the open, and get his money for that, get that payback. He should just come out into public, open public, to get his money. But I find this thing creepy as fuck, man. They say that it was approximating the look of a black rapper. It doesn't look like any black rapper that I've ever seen. Looks kind of like I don't know what it looks like. Even the skin tone is off. It has like a undead pallor to it. It has like these weird herky-jerky movements. And I know there's better programs like Maya and Blender and all this shit. It looks like a first generation PlayStation 2 like character in the way it moves and jerks around and everything. And you could tell like an idiot did this. I'm like, who the fuck did this? This is some outsider and shit. Then I saw like the Asian guy that created it, and it just makes sense. He looks like a prick. He's some guy that like would never be, in our presence. Okay, he would never be within, a striking distance. I'll put it that way. And then you see the two guys that's behind the shit. It's like record is, this guy, this producer. He's music industry guy. And he dropped out of, he dropped out as soon as the controversy hit, when Capitol Records signed the virtual rapper MEKA here. Yeah, he got a contract and shit, a musical contract for an entity that doesn't exist. So it's an IP. He's an IP. It's a virtual IP that these guys were going to profit off directly. And they had screwed out the guy. They didn't even pay the guy, supposedly, allegedly, just in case I'm trying to avoid litigation here. Allegedly, these guys didn't even pay the guy that provided the tracks that this character rapped to, supposedly, and provided the voice. A person of color did all the heavy lifting, audibly, and provided vocals and whatnot. And they provided a cheap, shitty, unrealized, video game character and shit. This thing is creepy as fuck, man. Even has like the weird jaw that reminds me of like that second Blade movie. They had these vampires called the Reapers, and they had this 3-pronged jaw. This thing has that, It's just a weird fucking rapper. I don't know any rapper that looks like this and whatnot. And the reason I think that it has that weird skin tone is this, so if this was successful, they could, and somebody started complaining once the ball was rolling, they could just claim it wasn't a black character, they could claim it was something else. That's why it has like a neutral skin tone. It's like just black enough. When I totally get it, man. I know where these guys came from. They're shysters. The white dude and the Asian dude, they were having a good time. They wanted to troll the black community and be dicks about it, and make some money and monetize themselves and shit. Both of them are dicks, and they should be ran out, They should be ran out of contention. These two, honkies, even the Asian dude, they're a honky. They should be ran out of out of polite society for this and shit. And it's okay, because I know that there's, probably virtual characters that look way better than this. The ball is in play, okay? This was something done by outsiders, and that's why, I think mostly MEKA's been almost scrubbed from the internet. There's barely any traces. It's all the same shit. And this character's been, I don't know how long the character's been around, but I could barely find materials to use for this commentary.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.